Hello everybody, my name is Frequently Sporadic and I've been doing this way too long already, so let's get to it. Right now I'm going to talk about 50 Shades. So I'm going to do a book summation, and by book summation I'm going to give you the bare minimum of what goes on in that book. Because you should know, if you're watching this video, what it's about. And then I'm going to give you a movie and book comparison, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on my very small thoughts on the domestic violence claims, okay? Really fast. And by really fast, I mean it's going to be forever. So, plot. I have to be honest, I haven't finished this series. I will never finish this series. And that should give you some input into how I feel about this series. So I'm going to give you what I know, which is up to the beginning of book 3. And when we get to the beginning of book 3, I'll tell you why I checked out at the beginning of book 3. Alright, so book 1. Oh, by the way, this series is by E.L. James. She's a lady. She's a lady. Lady writer. Anyway. So book 1, it follows a very typical plot, because it's based off Twilight. So book 1 is typical, vulnerable kind of woman, sort of a little bit more independent than its predecessor, or what it's based off of, which is Twilight. Because if you remember Twilight, Bella's like kind of like vulnerable and sort of like icky, icky from the start. And 50 Shades, like Anastasia Steele, which is the main character, she's a little bit, she's a little bit tough, a little bit rough and tumble. By tough, I mean not at all. But, she's fun, and she's like, she's not as whiny to begin with. So, meet her. She goes and she interviews this rich guy, and she dates him. And, I mean, and that's pretty much book 1. So she meets this rich guy, and falls in love with him. And they, they do stuff, and they have a relationship, whatever. And then, at the end of the book, and I have to give E.L. James credit for this. I didn't expect it, and that's what made me open up book 2, is because I didn't expect her ending, because the book itself followed such a specific, sort of set out format of what, these kinds of stories are like, these kind of tacky, cheesy stories. So I was kind of impressed that she, went ahead and, put in a little spin at the end. So at the end, she finds out about his deep, dark secret, and she leaves him. Okay? And I thought that was pretty, that was cool. I was proud of her. And that's why I say, like, book 1 is not terrible. I mean, it's terrible, but it's not terrible. So then, book 2, it follows a very specific, romance format, which is, I love you, and I don't want to leave you, and let's get back together, and sex scenes, and sex scenes, and sex scenes, and sex scenes, and a little bit of plot, and then sex scenes, and sex scenes, and a little bit of plot. And then then it ends with them getting married. That's book 2. And then the beginning of book 3 is, the reason I checked out at the beginning of book 3 is because she becomes incredibly needy in the beginning of book 3. And there's this one specific sentence that I remember that turned me off and kind of made me put the book, or put my electronic tablet, because who the hell would own a hard copy of 50 Shades and go out with it in public? Made me put my phone down. I think she goes, like, at one point, she's like, is it bad that I want to be with him all the time? I want to be with him all the time. And I was like, okay, all right, I'm gonna take a step back and never read this again. So, that's how I feel. I mean, it was fun. It's fun in a schoolgirly, high schooly, immature kind of way. And if you want to read something that's really light and kind of airy and fun, that's your book. It's definitely not a serious book in any capacity. She repeats phrases. Like, I don't know how you guys are about this, but I am, like, on it with phrases, and I don't like to see a word or a phrase a lot. And E.L. James will do this throughout the book, to the point where it's painful for me. Like the phrase "we aim to please," it's supposed to be like a special, like, banter thing back and forth for the characters, I think, and it's just annoying. Also, the word sardonic is used way more than it ever should have been. Like, I feel like I know the word, and I'm confident about the word sardonic now. So, I mean, if you want to learn a word and get a phrase stuck in your head, 50 Shades. Quick movie comparison. It takes the best parts of a interesting book and condenses them with a little bit of a difference here and there. But I feel like the movie does a good job of actually condensing the story. And added bonus, you don't have to hear everything that Anastasia is thinking through the movie, which is a huge relief. And I gotta give the actress credit who played her. She's funny. Like, the way it was directed, like, she does a lot of cheesy things, but they're funny because, you know, I've never actually seen those cheesy things play out on the big screen, so it was good. It was good to see, you know, and they were pretty true to the dialogue of the movie, which I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, the dialogue of the book, I don't know how I feel about that, whatever. But, yeah, the movie's pretty good. If you like the book, you should definitely see the movie because it's all the good parts without any of the nonsense. I feel. You lose some sex scenes, but unless that was a big part for you, then I'm sorry. Now, quick, on to our final part, which is domestic violence claims. I don't know if anyone, like, I don't know. I think 50 Shades is, like, pretty much gone now. Of course, I talk about it when it's not important anymore. But as far as the domestic violence claims, I think, like, the most, like, the claim that I put the most stock in, or the claim that I respect the most, was that young girls are gonna see this movie and read this book and sort of normalize this as, like, internalize this as what a normal relationship looks like. And, you know, you shouldn't do that. But, you know, I have to say that if you're like, I don't want to put an age cap on this. If you feel like you read this book and you say to yourself, I want my boyfriend to be like that, or I want a relationship like that, then no. You shouldn't be reading the book. And if you insist on reading the book, then I have to tell you that's not what a normal relationship looks like, and that's not what a normal relationship should be. And, you know, you should talk to your parent about that. And if you feel like you can't talk to your parent about that, then talk to somebody else about it. You know, you definitely shouldn't be taking this book seriously at all, ever, even a little bit, not even a smidgen, like, not even this much, not even, like, this much. E.L. James wrote the best gag romance novel of my life. Like, I've never read anything as funny. And, I mean, that's part of the book's charm, but you definitely shouldn't be taking this book seriously. Seriously. Don't take it seriously. Okay? Okay. Good talk. Alright. That's it for this video. I hope you guys had fun watching it. If you didn't, I don't care. I don't do this for you. I do this for me. So, bye-bye.